Hello YouTube, Philly Joe here. Hope everyone's doing well and staying safe and all that jazz. God, it's been a while since I've done one of these. This is a tier maker. So I'm going to create a tier list and rank every single video games console that I've ever played. Now I'm going to leave out the ones that I haven't played because, you know, I can't say whether a console's good or bad if I've never played it. So I'm just going to switch screens here. We'll just jump straight into it and we'll start doing this. Okay, so here we've got a list of all the consoles at the bottom, and I will be putting them into S for excellent, A for very good, B for okay, C for not very good at all, and D for utter trash. So let's get into it. So Xbox One, really good console. A friend of mine, we currently play his Xbox One console whenever we're around his, and we play lots of games, and it runs really well. I don't have the console myself, but I've played plenty of it to say that I'm happy enough to give that an A ranking, because I actually think it's better than the Xbox 360. They've made many improvements, not just graphically, but you know, aesthetically, and yeah, I just prefer the Xbox One to the Xbox 360, definitely. Alright, so secondly, we've got the Nintendo 64. Now, it's a funny one, this, because as most people know, if you've ever played a Nintendo 64, the games aren't very good. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some, you know, AAA tier games there. Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Donkey Kong Country 64, sorry, Donkey Kong 64, Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, plenty of awesome games. But the majority of the back catalogue is not very good at all. But I love the console. I remember at first not getting very used to the controller with the thumbstick and the Z button at the back. But I have grown to love it, and it's very, very, very nostalgic for me. So I'm going to stick that at A. I was umming and ahhing about the N64 because of the whole debacle of it not. It was very primitive in the 3D era. It was limited by its capacity with games, not being able to create digital sounds. So, like from say like the Sony Playstation, Sega Saturn, weren't able to play CDs or anything like that. Not with that, and also quite limited because of the storage on a CD. Storage on a cartridge as opposed to a CD. But I don't care. I love the console. I've got so many good memories of playing it in N64. GoldenEye, how could I forget GoldenEye? Christ almighty. Yeah, so there you go. So that's the N64. So, right, Nintendo Game Boy. S tier, mate. Absolutely one of my favourite video games consoles of all time. Remember, this is my list. Please feel free to make your own. But Nintendo Game Boy is everything. Is absolutely everything to me, because it was my first ever video games console, and I have so many nostalgic memories. To this day, I will still play Nintendo Game Boy games. I have a plethora of Nintendo Game Boy games right here, and I've got the box console right here. Everything here. Okay, I've got the first couple of Super Mario Lands here, 1 and 2. I can't really say much more, but apart from I absolutely adore this console, and I will keep it S tier for the rest of my life. It's groundbreaking in its portability, and yes, it wasn't as powerful as or in colour as like the Sega Game Gear, Atari Lynx, anything like that. But I don't care. It was phenomenal, and yes, you couldn't even see the screen without actually sitting under a light and have like playing Tetris or whatever. I had a game called Solar Striker, and it was mint condition, man. It was so good. Oh, I don't know how else I could. No matter what anyone else ever says about Nintendo Game Boy, the impact it had on the video game industry and the impact it's had on my life is more than any other console that's ever been made. So S tier straight away. Okay, this looks like a Colecovision or something, or no, sorry, it's a Magnavox Odyssey. I will leave that one because I will put that to the start as like the end, because I have never played that console and I can't say much about it. I have seen, you know, the like videos of the Magnavox Odyssey, but I don't think it did very well in the UK. I don't remember ever seeing one ever. Maybe at a trade show or something, but No, I don't remember ever seeing one at Tandy or Dixon's or anything like that. So, next we have the Nintendo Entertainment System. This goes in an A. I have, along with the Nintendo Game Boy, a friend of mine had a Nintendo Entertainment System, and we used to play the hell out of it. We used to play Double Dragon, Tom and Jerry, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Super Mario Brothers, of course, and Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3. It's probably the most famous video games console ever. I absolutely adore it. I would have gone S tier. Just only the fact that I never owned one until in my late teens. Oh no, actually I was in my early teens. But I do love my Nintendo Entertainment System. I still play NES games to this day. As people know, if you've ever watched my YouTube channel, I'm the current world record holder in a speedrun for Super Off-Road on the NES. Get in. And I absolutely adore it, and yeah, I couldn't ever put it anywhere lower than A. So that's the NES. I mean, what else is there to say that no one's ever said before about this Nintendo? Okay, PS2. PlayStation 2, I had a PlayStation 2. I loved my PlayStation 2. So I am going to put it in A as well. It's starting off strong, this tier list. I think we're going to come to some manky consoles soon that I'm not going to like, and there's going to be a few lower graded consoles. But yeah, PS2, phenomenal console. Played DVDs. I think was the first console to do so, about the year 2000. I had loads of games for it, and yeah, I absolutely loved the PlayStation 2. Played lots of multiplayer games on there, and everything you played on PS1 pretty much had a massive upgrade on PS2. The library was madness. It was like 1,500 games plus, and yeah, I just love it. I'm going to crack on anyway, so I'll just keep rambling. Okay, next is the Sega Mega Drive. This looks like a Japanese version, but yeah, Sega Mega Drive / Genesis if you're in the North America. Sega Mega Drive is going to have to go B. I have lots of fond memories with the Sega Mega Drive. I really do. No, I'm not going to change my mind here. Basically, I think the catalogue for the Sega Mega Drive is great. The sound. This is the odd thing about the Sega Mega Drive. The console had 3 of the most amazing video games in the Streets of Rage series. Streets of Rage 1, 2 and 3. If you've ever played it, you know that it's got a phenomenal soundtrack. That soundtrack is actually my favourite video game soundtrack of all time. All 3 games are just phenomenal when it comes to the sound. And the gameplay is great as well. There's loads of great games for the Sega Mega Drive. Please don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on it. It's just the console itself. I just much prefer the Super Nintendo. When it comes to games like Altered Beast, Golden Axe, everything like that, they were all great home ports. I always prefer the arcade versions, and that's the only downfall with the Sega Mega Drive, which is really strange because I'm also looking at Sega Master System here, and it's going to be very, very difficult to know where I'm going to put the Sega Master System because I'm actually more fond of the Sega Master System than I am the Sega Mega Drive. So we'll see. I do love the Sega Mega Drive. I'm only putting it at B because of the whole, all of it, the aesthetic, the no, ignore everything I've just said. Yeah. 3 words, Sonic the Hedgehog. Sega Mega Drive is an A class. This is crazy. This is hard. You know, this is really difficult to do. I wanted to, like, you know, make a fair point, but it's when I start thinking about it, I've gone into this completely, you know, like not prepared at all. I'm not looking at any notes for any games it came with or anything like that. This is really hard to just on the spot decide exactly where these consoles should go. But yes, I'm sticking it at A. The more I think about it, the greater the console was. It really was. So yeah, ignore everything I just said before that. Okay, next we've got the Microsoft Xbox, the OG Xbox. I had an Xbox. I liked my Xbox. I understand that Halo 2, all, you know, phenomenal, groundbreaking games. I'm going to have to put it at B. I can't choose any higher than that because I don't have love for the Xbox. I think it's a good machine. I really do. It's very powerful. It played DVDs. You could get a DVD remote with it. You could play 4-player. It was great. It's just Microsoft's initial entry into the video game market was very... I was a PlayStation 2 man at the time. And this being my list, I'll stick that at B and be done with it because... yeah, it had a few Sega games on it that I was very fond of, such as there was a port of Shenmue 2, and there was also Jet Set Radio Future. It also had some a lot of the games that Microsoft Xbox had were also on PS2 when it came to games like Outrun 2, sorry, and some other games like that. But yeah, Microsoft, OG Xbox, it extends at B for me. Okay, next console, PS5. Now, funnily enough, I've not played a PS5 yet, so I'm going to stick that over here. And I'll come back to this tier list in about 5 years' time, and I'll let you know where we'll go with that. Same as the Xbox Series X, or the Xbox Series S. I've not played either of those consoles. I just haven't bought one, and I haven't been around to anyone that's got one, so yeah, we'll leave those there. Okay, Atari 2600, I'm going to place at B. Because I actually do have an Atari 2600. I don't have the wooden case one. I have the slimline later generation console. I love this. When I first got this Atari 2600, I actually acquired it from a friend of mine who'd had it since they were a child. And I love the games. I think there's so much character to them. I've actually got the original Mario Brothers. Not Super Mario Brothers, but Mario Brothers. Where there's like just platforms and you have to hit the spikes, and I forgot what they called them, but I think it was an arcade game originally. But yeah, I've got Centipede, Space Invaders. I think it's a great little console. I understand that it you know, pretty much kickstarted the industry when it came to home video games consoles. I know it wasn't the first, but it was definitely the one that sold a lot. You know, to make people stand up and think video games are here to stay. Before the crash, of course. And there's also E.T. and things like that. I've never played E.T., but I know the video game crash of '83. But I really like the Atari 2600. Very fond of it, and yeah, happily put that on B. So this one looks like Colecovision, I think. Again, I don't think I've ever played that either. I think it's a Coleco, but something along those lines. It's something I've never played anyway. So yeah. I'll leave that one side. Next side. The Sega Master System, I'm going to put A. I love my Sega Master System. I always have. I'm very close to putting it at S. I am very close to putting the Sega Master System at S rank. No, let's stick with A. The Sega Master System. I remember playing the first time when I was about 5 years old around a friend's house. They had Alex Kidd built in. I can see this is the Mark 1 model, which I've got the box for. If you can see back here, just there, I've got the Sega Master System with the two joypads, light zapper, and a phaser gun. And I think the games are Safari Hunt and Super Hang-On. Or just Hang On. But yeah, very fond of this. So, yeah, as you can see, this is a Mark 1 Sega Master System. The Mark 2, of course, having built-in games, either Alex Kidd or Sonic the Hedgehog. But absolutely love, you know, Master System. I really do. I still play a lot of games to this day, and I always will. I was very fond of the Sega Master System. I love it. I prefer it to the Sega Mega Drive. How crazy is that? You know, it's got so much character. The games like the Ninja, of course the Sonic games, and also Phantasy Star, is it called Psycho Fox or something like that? A couple of other games, I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah, What a classic console. Okay, so next we've got the Super Nintendo. This looks like an American model, but of course, being the UK model, it looks a bit more like... I don't think I've got it to hand to show you, but you know what the Super Famicom looks like. It's the Super Nintendo in the UK. That's going straight to S rank. The Super Nintendo is one of the greatest consoles, if not the greatest video games console of all time. What is there left to say about the Super Nintendo? Everything from Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Super everything. It was just a phenomenal console. And yes, that's definitely in my top 5 video games consoles ever. I need to do a new top 5 or top 10, I reckon, but no, this is fun doing this. So yeah, what else is there left to say about the Super NES? So that's straight to S rank. Okay, next we've got the Sega Saturn. I'm going to put the Sega Saturn in B. I have a Sega Saturn, and I also got one quite early on after it had been released. I really enjoy the games. I love Sega Rally. I like playing the Virtua Fighter and Virtua Fighter 2. There was, I think, the Daytona USA. There was a version of Daytona on there, and also I think it was like a Manx TT Superbike. I had some of those games. A friend of mine and I used to play Sega Worldwide Soccer 97, I think it was, together. The problems I've got with the Sega Saturn are the load times. Awful load times. You play I think it was Virtua Fighter 1 or Virtua Fighter 2. You're looking at about almost a minute to load a game. It was too much. And also, I did like the pads. It looked like a massive step up from. It was pretty much the 6 button from the Sega Mega Drive. That's what it seemed like. The console itself isn't great. That's why it's just okay. Because you know how good some of the games were. It's just the actual console itself, along with the Microsoft Xbox, I've never really had love for, and it's just okay for me, Sega Saturn, and that's where it stays. So yeah, Game Boy Advance. I am a fan of the Game Boy Advance. I don't have as much love for it as I do the OG Game Boy, right? Because I did have a Game Boy Advance. I had Mario Kart, Super Circuit, quite a lot of these Super Mario Advance games, which were pretty much the OG Super Mario games, as well as I think one of them was Super Mario World as well. So yeah, there's some really good games on there. There was a couple of Tony Hawk's, basically everything like that. There's a lot of 3D games that were made into isometric 3D to run on the actual Game Boy Advance. As I say, I don't have as much love as I do with the OG Game Boy. Where am I going to put this? This is a difficult question. It's either A or B. I'm going to stick it in B, because at the later iterations, such as the my Advance SP, you know, that is way better. The OG Game Boy Advance, again, it was just like the Game Boy. You had to look under a light or something to actually see the screen. It's okay console. I almost put it at A, but I'm going to stick with B. A bit controversial, but you know, my list. Get your own. Okay, Nintendo GameCube, I'm going to put at A, because I'm a big fan of the Nintendo GameCube. I did have Super Monkey Ball. I pretty much bought a Nintendo GameCube as soon as it came out. Games like Super Monkey Ball and Super Mario Sunshine. I did have quite a few Resident Evil games on the GameCube as well. It's a great controller, and yeah, it's a fantastic times playing multiplayer with Super Monkey Ball. So much fun, man. And I'm just trying to think of some of the later games on the GameCube. I can't think of many others. Wave Race, Blue Storm, I think that's about it. I'm sure I played more GameCube than I thought I did. I think what happened is I ended up giving it away quite early on. I do have a couple of GameCubes now. I need to get back into it, like GameCube, to be honest. But very fond memories of when I did have it. It was loads of fun, and that's why it's sitting at A. Else it would be sitting at B. But because they were just brilliant, like the games that I played. So yeah, very happy with that. PSP, I'm going to put B. I had a PSP, not for a good few years after it came out, and it ran well. The control stick isn't great. It's not my favourite. You know, the actual analog stick itself. It was great to see games running as well as they did. You know, for the time, like games like Ridge Raver. A friend of mine, Alex, actually got his imported from Hong Kong about a year before it came out over here, and he bought I think it was something like a 1 gigabyte memory card, and I remember it costed him almost as much as the actual console did, because it was Sony would ever only allow you to use their memory cards in both the PSP. Oh no, I think it was just the PSP. But yeah, he had a couple of games with it, and yeah, watching those games running on the PSP and on a handheld, simply amazing. But yeah, I did have it, and I just wasn't a massive fan of the controls. There was some good games, but yeah, it'll stick at B for me, I reckon. Okay, next console we have the PS3, Sony Playstation 3. I love my PlayStation 3, I really do. That's going to go in the A section. It's going to go in A section. There we go. Yeah, I'm a massive Sony Playstation fan. I think it's such an amazing brand. They deliver every single iteration of like PlayStation. You know, the fantastic games lineup. Early on, it suffered quite a bit. I mean, it was so expensive. I didn't get mine until about 3 years after it got released. Yes, it plays Blu-rays, and yeah, some really good games later on in the game's life cycle, especially near the end with games like The Last of Us and things like that. So yeah, I love my PS3. Happy to stick it at A. So next one, Nintendo Wii. Now, for as popular as the Nintendo Wii was, I never actually had one until very late on, until about a couple of years ago. And then I caught up with all the games on there, such as Donkey Kong Country Returns. Got so many of the games like Wii Sports and like Wii Play, all the Wii stuff, basically. All the Keep Fit games and all the new Super Mario Brothers Wii games and stuff. And it's fantastic. The only thing is, I didn't have it from near the beginning, and I fully respect what the Nintendo Wii did for the games industry, making it so families can play together and it was more accessible for anyone that wasn't that much into video games. I'm going to stick this at B, because I don't love it, I don't hate it. I enjoyed when I've played it, but I just like it, really. It's okay for me. So yeah, Nintendo, the original Nintendo Wii sits at B for me. Xbox 360. This is a tough one, because I have an Xbox 360. I've played loads of Xbox 360. I'm not a big Xbox fan, Xbox 360 fan. I'm going to stick this at B, because Xbox One, as I said before when I was speaking about the Xbox One, way better. Xbox 360, I know, was a massive selling console. It was up there with PS3, head to head all the way. And I know for a lot of people I know love their Xbox 360s. I just think it's an okay console for me, and that's just my opinion. I've got nothing else to say about it, to be honest. Alright, PS Vita. I'm going to put my PS Vita close to an S and put it at A. I love my PS Vita. I think it's a fantastic handheld. From the PSP to the PS Vita is such a great leap of what you would say, like the controls. It just felt better. The screen was gorgeous, and the joystick and the D-pad and the buttons just felt way more natural. And yeah, the fantastic. It wasn't supported very well at all, but I absolutely adore my PS Vita, and I got a lot of love for it. I've got it down here somewhere, but yeah, I still play it to this day. So I love the PS Vita. It's one of the best handhelds of all time. All right, Nintendo DS. That looks like a 3DS to me. Yeah, Nintendo 3DS. I did have a 3DS for a short while, then I gave, I think it was my niece, I gave to her for Christmas or something. A 3DS is a fantastic console, don't get me wrong. I just don't have love for it, so I'm going to stick that at B. I don't think anything's going to go into C or D, is it? I'm too kind. That's my problem, isn't it? So yeah, definitely, yeah. 3DS is a really good console, and there was a slight niggling issue I did with it. The buttons were very small. The control itself with the, I think the 3D is actually really good. You know, they did a great job with actually how to work the 3D without you know, using glasses or anything like that. The D-pad's not bad. The actual analog sticks, it's not my favourite. It's just an okay console for me. Again, it's not one that holds a lot of memories or, you know, love for me at all. So yeah, that's the 3DS. Okay, next we've got the Sony PlayStation, the original. Boom! That's going straight to S. This console is just phenomenal. It's one of the best consoles of all time. And yeah, all I can say is if it weren't for the Sony PlayStation, video games would be very different. I don't know what would have happened with just Sega and Nintendo just running the video game market. It would have, yeah. The Sony PlayStation gave the games industry attitude with games like because I was a teenager when this came out. A lot of teenage-based games came out with it. The Tony Hawk series, lots of other niche games as well as action games, all the Resident Evil games, Tomb Raider games, what's that driving series, Twisted Metal, Crash Bandicoot, and it seemed a legitimate competitor to Sega and Nintendo having Crash Bandicoot as their mascot. How crazy is that now that Activision now owns Crash Bandicoot? Madness. But no, sorry, Microsoft now own Activision. Therefore, Crash Bandicoot is Microsoft. Mental. And Spyro the Dragon. It's madness. But yeah, Sony PlayStation, cannot fault it at all. What a console. Okay, next we got the Nintendo DS. Again, I'm just sticking that at B. Same with the 3DS. I don't have love for it. I think it's okay. I know it's the biggest selling video games console ever. Just behind the PS2. Well, it's the biggest selling series of consoles ever. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a Nintendo DS. Not a lot of people didn't have one, and it's got some great games. But yeah, I didn't have one until later on, and then it wasn't until then I was catching up with all the games that were released back then, like Brain Training, New Super Mario Brothers, and all this, which are great. But I just think it's okay. In general, it doesn't mean a lot to me. Okay, so next we've got the PlayStation 4. Now this is a tough one. I'm going to go S tier. It wasn't that tough. The PlayStation 4 is my favourite PlayStation console. I would actually say I prefer it over the original Sony PlayStation, and that's saying something, because PlayStation 4, I've not played many bad games at all. I've had this thing for about 6 years now, and I've never played so many video games in my life, and I love all of the games like that I've played. So many good memories with them, and this console is just amazing. I love it so much, and yes, I am a PS fanboy. I'm proud of it. So I'm just going to move straight on after that. Nintendo Switch. I'd almost stick that at S tier. It's still got a lot of life in this console. I'm going to put it at A. I've got a Nintendo Switch and I absolutely adore it and I love it. And it's still got at least 5 years in its life cycle, so it's just quite strange to say oh, it's S tier, you know, because the Sony PlayStation, sorry, PS4 came out in 2013. It's done its job. It's done like 8 years of, you know, amazing gaming. Switch has been out just under 5 years, so yeah, it is definitely going to be. I definitely think it's going to be the biggest selling video games console of all time. It's just surpassed 100 million in under 5 years. It's definitely going for the record of, I think PS2 holds the record at 140 or 150 million. So yeah, Nintendo Switch, phenomenal console, and I love it. I do. It's just not, you know, it's not S rank. Okay, and then the Nintendo Wii U. I didn't think I was going to put a console at either C or D. Nintendo Wii U I had one. I've got one. The only thing stopping the Wii U from going into D for me is the fact it had Bayonetta 2 on it. The Wii U, and whatever game I played, I just didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy holding the controller. I didn't like how to set the Wii U up. It was such a disappointment. I was so disappointed with the Wii U. I tried games like Zombie U and other ones that utilise the actual gamepad itself. I love the idea, and playing some of the games on portable was really cool, but there weren't if any good games like that I thoroughly enjoyed, apart from Bayonetta 2. You know, so I'll keep going back to Bayonetta 2, but I did play a few of the Wii U games, but I just didn't enjoy the console at all. I'm not going to put it at D because, you know, I still have mine and I will play it again at some point, but not in any time soon. And I've just noticed that I'm really quite disappointed at the fact that the Sega Dreamcast isn't in this list. The Sega Dreamcast is my favourite video game of all time. That is S rank. This is S tier gaming. The Sega Dreamcast, I'm actually gutted. I've only just thought it's not there. It's not there. I've got mine right here. I've got four controllers, all the games in the world. You know what? I'm going to pull it out for this video. Oh, misses. Right. Let's get this camera up. So here's my baby. 1, 2. Keyboard. 3, 4. The only reason I haven't got it set up is that I've only just got this desk set up in the last year or so. There it is. There's my original Sega Dreamcast. On the very minute I bought it in the year was it 99 or 2000? The year 2000, I bought this, and later that year I bought Shenmue. I've got all my games right here. I've got, as you can see, Power Stone, Worms, Armageddon, House of the Dead 2. I've got light gun somewhere. I don't think it's in this bag actually. Games like Jet Set Radio, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Tokyo Highway Challenge. It's funny, a friend of mine a couple of years ago, he'd never played a Dreamcast, came over, played it, and was pleasantly surprised. And yeah, I said, mate, it's my favourite games console ever. Metropolis Street Racer, Rayman 2, all sorts of games like this. I can't say how, like, this is probably always going to be my favourite video games console of all time. I don't know why I've got 2 copies of Choo Choo Rocket, but I do. Virtua Fighter 3, Shenmue, Shenmue 2, Tee-Off, I don't know why I've got Tee-Off, Virtua Tennis, cracking game, and the one and only Soul Calibur, which, if you've never played it on the Sega Dreamcast, you've got to play it. You wouldn't believe how good it looks. It's better than the actual arcade game. And yeah, so that's my favourite video games console of all time. And that is where I'm going to end the video, because I've run out of consoles that I haven't played on here. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I haven't played these 4. and I'm gutted that Sega Dreamcast wasn't here, because that would be S tier, and it would be S plus if it could. It would be the S triple plus, triple star, anything. It's just the best video games console of all time in my eyes, and always will be, most likely. So anyways, I'm gonna end the video there. Thank you so much for watching. How long has this gone? 35 minutes. That's not too bad, is it? Hopefully I've got some nice background music going, and it's a bit better than the videos I used to do a few years ago. Now I've got me set up and that. So thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.